Welcome to the new features training for Business Insight version 20, also known as HBI or BI. Once you click on the access link to HBI, you will notice a slight change in the look of the login screen. We have a few different options on how to log in. Type the domain, UTMCK, and your network username and password, and then click the login button. If you'd like the system to remember your login information without your password, click the checkbox here to remember login information. If you're at your own workstation and logged into the network as yourself, you may simply check the Enable Automatic Login box and click Login, and it will log you in using your network information. When the screen displays the home view in BI, you will also see some changes. Where we used to have the highlights, scorecards, reports, and resources across the top of the screen, you now will have a viewer tab. You may or may not have the dashboard options. Since I'm an administrator, I have those. But in your viewer tab, you'll see over on the left, you may view all items that are in HBI and accessible to you based on your user settings, or the highlights and resources, just as you used to have before across the top. Another feature that's available in version 20 is the Find feature. So if we want to look for a particular file, over in the Find box, we simply type the first few letters of what we're looking for. So for example, here I typed in RESP, and it found all of the highlights with the name RESP in it, starting with responsibility summary. Once you've found the item you want, again, you still click on it and it will display. The drill options, well, drilling hasn't changed much. You still drill the same by clicking on whatever the bold item is over in the account description. Here is the example I'm using. The difference that has changed in drilling is that how you go back a drill level 1 or 2 at a time. Used to we only be able to go 1 at a time or drill top. Now we can go to the specific drill item that we want to drill back to, and it will take us there directly. Or again, to the very first drill level, and it takes you back to the top. If you are familiar with changing the highlight display settings, like your drill order, data qualification using queries, or hiding or showing different columns within the highlight, this functionality has also changed. To access this feature, we click on the highlight drop-down and display options. You may choose any one of these. I'm going to choose drill order, because all of those options are then available in this screen across the top in one of these tabs. So for example, if we wanted to change the drill order and move our accounting unit to the top level, we simply drag and drop, and now we've reordered our drill levels. Click OK, and it'll save your changes. But if we also wanted to make some changes to our column settings, we click on the tab for measures, which also means columns, and we can check or uncheck the various columns that we want to hide, to uncheck, and check if you want to show them. One last thing that I want to show you is in the table tab, and that is the paging. In version 16, we had to enter a 0 for the number of rows to turn off the paging. Now we simply check the radio button on or off to turn on or table paging off. And if we do have it on, we just tell it the number of rows that we'd like to see per page. I'm going to leave it set to off, and then when all of the changes that I want to make in my display settings are completed, I simply click the OK button, and it will save my changes. So there we have it. You can see I've lost my actual or my budget and different columns for January, February, March, and April. Qualifying the highlight to display selected data is also performed in the highlight dropdown, going to the Qualify option and Define. We select the desired data element from the field dropdown. So let's say we want to qualify based on the GL expense account, which in this case is named account description, and that's already the one defaulting there. But you can see our other options are available based on our drill levels. Then we must select the operand. So that would be whether we want something to be less than, greater than, equal to, whatever operator we want to use to make this qualification. Remember that in allows for the selection of multiple values, while like only allows for one value to be selected. For this example, we'll use in, and then we can type the desired value in this value box, or we may use the lookup button to select from a list of valid codes for this field. When in the lookup screen, you can search for items by the code or the description. So if I wanted to search for some of my expense accounts, I can type 075 and it'll go right to the 075 accounts. If I wanted to just look for supply accounts, I can type in supply and it will go right to the items that have the word supply in the description. To make your selections, you may double click and it will move it down into the selected items. You may also drag and drop and use the control key to select multiple items that are not in consecutive order, and then we drag and drop those in. Or we may select multiple items using the shift key and highlighting consecutive and drag and drop. When you've finished your selections, simply click the Append button. This takes you back to the Qualify screen. From here, you must click the Add to Qualification button to include the selection criteria to the query. To qualify the data using a different field, like the accounting unit description, make your selections and add those qualifications to the query. Once the second qualification is part of the query, you can specify whether both qualifications must be met using the AND or the OR button. In this case, I want both qualifications to be met, so I will leave it set to AND, but you can choose OR or AND in any type of query that you're doing. You may also use the Edit or Delete All Clauses buttons to make changes to the qualification. And then you simply click OK to save your changes. To return the highlight to its original settings without saving, you simply click the McKesson Performance Analytics homepage icon at the top left corner of the screen, and this will take you back to the home screen, and it won't save the changes that you've made. I don't want to do this at this point because I want to save the changes. So to save these display settings and qualifications in my highlight, I go to the Highlight drop-down and Bookmarks, and then Save. You can save these settings as your user default, and it will not change the settings for any other user. It will only change them for this highlight for you. But let's say I want to name it Actual. I simply type the name of the bookmark and click OK. And now those settings for my screen are saved under that highlight. To retrieve the highlight, you simply go to Bookmarks and select, and then choose the bookmark that you want to open. Here's my actual that I just created. You'll notice public bookmarks. When we went to save the bookmark, there was a checkbox to save as public bookmark. Public bookmarks icons display slightly differently than the personal bookmarks. A public bookmark is accessible to anyone with access to this highlight. So let's open this one. Oh, that's the one I'm in. I want to open actual only. Exporting data to Excel is very simple in version 20. Use the icon just to the right of the highlight drop-down menu to export data for the currently displayed drill level. You may also export to a text file using the icon just to the right of the Export Excel. Folders in BI 20 are still over on the left side of the screen, and this allows you to locate items stored away based on the type of information rather than the file type. To display the folders, you must click the arrow next to the public folders to expand the view. And then you may scroll down through, open the folder, and you should see all of the same information that was previously stored in the folders. This concludes the overview of new features in Business Insights version 20. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it was helpful. Please contact Decision Support, Pam Rogers, at 251-4404 if you have questions or need additional training.